Now, the world says productivity is about maximizing your time and your output and your results. Doesn't sound too bad, right? We all want to be productive and have success and do something and accomplish something with our life. And indeed, God designed us unto that end. God did not design us to be unproductive. However, we've been subtly deceived on how to be productive, what is required of us to be productive, and what productivity looks like and results in. Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Listen, I wanted to take a minute to just share something from my heart that I think is going to be incredibly important for us as believers and followers of Christ, living in a world that is, quite frankly, valuing a lifestyle and practices that are not healthy. And I want to talk a little bit about productivity and what true productivity is, especially from the lens of someone who's thinking through kingdom citizenship mindset. We are citizens of God's kingdom, and so what would productivity be for someone who is following Christ? Now, the world says productivity is about maximizing your time and your output and your results. Doesn't sound too bad, right? We all want to be productive and have success and do something and accomplish something with our life. And indeed, God designed us unto that end. God did not design us to be unproductive. However, we've been subtly deceived on how to be productive, what is required of us to be productive, and what productivity looks like and results in. The mindset I mentioned earlier about maximizing your time and your output and your results, the problem with these sorts of ways of thinking is that it breeds a particular mindset. And this is what we want to watch out for. We want to watch out for what we believe, because what we believe will breed a mindset, a way of thinking. And when we have a way of thinking, we begin to have a way of acting. And then that way of acting breeds a way of feeling and a state of being. For instance, that mindset of maximizing your time, your output, your results can breed a mindset that leads to hurry, pressure, and self-preoccupation. And these things will drive us right into the ground. It doesn't help that we are creatures who are never satisfied, meaning when we reach a goal, we immediately set a new one. And we're like, climb higher, climb higher, climb higher. Nothing is good enough. At no point can we reach a goal and be like, I can rest now. And I can live in this and enjoy the fruit of this. That kind of goes against our nature. It certainly goes against the way society has shaped us. And so because we have this ingrained in us to keep setting new goals and climbing higher, if we associate those goals and the achievement thereof as productive, we will drive ourselves and do almost anything to attain those goals and reach those goals. And in the process, we will wear ourselves out, we will exhaust ourselves, and we will probably reach them. In many cases, you may reach the goal, but as soon as you do, you don't even take time to enjoy them before you set new ones. And we call this productivity. We call productivity, I should say this. In our mindset in this world, our productivity is really about what can I do to lead to success? And then we usually define success as a standard of life that I deem desirable, right? And so if I'm productive, income, what can income afford me? What kind of lifestyle can I live? What kind of security can I have? So on and so forth. And the things we do unto that end, we call productivity. So a kingdom citizen, what I want to kind of reframe here is, does not ask, how can I make my life more successful? It does not aim for what can I do to have a more desirable lifestyle, outcome. That's not at all what a kingdom mindset, and a kingdom mindset specifically towards productivity thinks about or asks. Instead, a kingdom citizen asks, how can I serve the king with my time, talents, and treasures, the resources that he's entrusted to me? And more than that, it asks, what has God asked of me? That is productivity. What has God asked of me? He's not asked me necessarily to go build this big business and create this lifestyle for myself and have this retirement. And none of those things are bad in and of themselves. I'm just saying, if that's what we're creating in our mind that we want for ourselves, that's our first problem. We're thinking about what we want for ourselves, our ideal dream scenario, and productivity is anything that takes me to that end. Well, kingdom productivity is Christ-centered, not self-centered. And so if your life is about waking up every day to go to work and making money for you so you can reach your goals, your lifestyle, your dreams, you're not thinking like a kingdom citizen in terms of kingdom productivity, and you might not be doing anything that has eternal value. That scares the living heebie-bejeebies out of me, okay? Like to think about the time of my life being spent on something that when I die means nothing anymore. Someone else, maybe I'll pass it down to my kids or grandkids, but eventually someone else who I don't even know is going to be delighting in everything I worked my life away for. For what? I want my life to have eternal value, meaning when I die, there's things that last, and there's things that, in my belief, and if you share my biblical worldview, we're storing up for another age. And so a wise person thinks through this kingdom productivity lens of, I want my time that I'm spending on this earth, the things that I'm building and putting my energy and effort towards, I don't necessarily care how much it pays me monetarily. I pray it does. But if it doesn't, I'm not storing up for myself treasures here. Productivity is going to be what I'm building that lasts eternally. And so we have to, if we want to be productive and truly find fulfillment in our work in the earth, we've got to start having a Christ-centered productivity mindset rather than a self-centered productivity mindset. So it's not about building a personal empire on the earth. It's about building his kingdom on the earth, okay? It's about aligning every task, every skill, and every moment on this earth with the purposes of King Jesus. That's when you'll really start to find fulfillment in a life of productivity. So if it's not productive in his eyes, then it's not productive in the eyes of a kingdom citizen. I think it's super helpful and important to recognize this. True productivity asks this question: Lord, what assignment have you placed in front of me today? Because if we can get in touch with the heart of God, what's my assignment right now? What do I need to be obedient in today? And we'll just take one day at a time and focus on being obedient with the assignment, with the calling for today. We will find that it accumulates. And if you do that every day over time, what ends up happening is you look back through the lanes of time and you realize, wow, I was really fruitful. I was really productive. We begin to ask, how can I honor you, Lord, with my time? Not to impress myself with my results, but to actually produce fruit that remains and to store up for myself in an age that's coming where neither moth nor rust will ever destroy. So it's incredibly important that we begin to shift our aim from personal return to kingdom faithfulness, to kingdom investment, to kingdom return. What is going to be productive for the kingdom, not necessarily my 401k or my retirement or my lifestyle or security. Again, I want to be clear. I hope you have all that. I believe the Lord delights when his people prosper and succeed. None of that's bad in and of itself, but if that's your aim, if that's what you're after, if that's what you're building towards, if that's what you're pursuing, if that's what your life is about building and achieving and accomplishing, you're not being productive from a kingdom point of view. And when we can become productive and shift our mindset to a kingdom productivity, our work actually becomes lighter, clearer, and eternally meaningful. You will find fulfillment. I can't help but wonder how many people feel overwhelmed and worn down and discouraged in life because they have the wrong definition of productivity. So they're over here chasing relentlessly like a hamster on a wheel, and they can never actually feel productive or accomplished or fulfilled in life because they're doing things they weren't actually designed for, created for, but that society tells them is the right thing. Okay, and so this is incredibly important that we begin to shift our mindset and we begin to think properly about kingdom productivity. It's about faithfulness over efficiency. Faithfulness first. Efficiency is important, yes, but not at the neglect of faithfulness. Obedience is better than achievement. Fruitfulness is better than busyness. Paul talks and berates busybodies in some of his letters, and it's about faithfulness, not being busy. It's not about quantity, it's about quality. And you weren't made to chase after impact. Now you may be saying, Lee, hold on, wait a minute. I believe God wants us to have impact in the earth. Yeah, I do too. My point here is that you weren't made to chase after it. You were made to walk arm in arm with the King, stewarding what he's given you, and then impact will follow you. But if you're going around just chasing impact, you'll never make an impact. And if you'll stop trying to chase impact and you'll just lock in to what God has in front of you today and you'll steward it, you'll obey, and then you'll rest and you'll delight and you'll create margin in your life, you're just obedient with today, impact will follow you. And as a result, you're going to find fulfillment in life. You're going to produce an abundance of fruit in life. And the best part about it is you may be successful and prosperous in this life. I don't know. But even if you're not, you're going to store up for yourselves eternal treasures, eternal rewards where neither moth nor rust destroy for all of eternity. I'd say that's productivity. Productivity is building the kingdom on earth as in heaven and producing fruit that glorifies God. Productivity is about being obedient. Productivity is about not being a hamster that just chases stuff for self-gain and self-glory and never actually gets to enjoy any of it or actually arrives or reaches the goal because it's all a hoax. It's all a psyop. It doesn't exist. It's an illusion. And God invites us into true fulfillment, true productivity. And I hope you'll find it today. And so that's all I want to say about that. I hope you'll take this and reflect on it. Let me know in the comments below if this affected you in any way. And if it has, I invite you to subscribe, join our community, and of course, share this with someone that you feel might be impacted or edified by this message. Until next time, God bless you guys.